Thank you and welcome to the show this morning. The topic this morning is an AIDS update. And of course we have with us to give us an AIDS update Mr. RCrowder, the founder of an organization called StreetWorks, which has done tremendous work in terms of making people much more aware of HIV and AIDS, not only in Nashville, but across this nation. And of course, Mr. Crowder, let me welcome you to the show this morning.
Thank you, Dr. Haney. Glad to be here.
And to tell you how delighted we are to have you with us, Mr. Crowder. But I think our audience will also know, Mr. Crowder, that you're no stranger with us. As a matter of fact, I think if we look back into our archives, we might find as many as 12 or 13 different appearances that you have made on this particular show dealing with this particular issue. And I think that that says a lot in terms of who you are and what you have been doing in terms of dealing with HIV and AIDS. Let's make more members of our audience aware of you, Mr. Crowder, by having you to give us background information, background education, and some of the things that eventually got you involved in this whole fight against HIV and AIDS, and then we'll talk about other things.
Okay, Dr. Haney, as you know, maybe not your audience, that I founded StreetWorks back in 1997. We started out of the trunk of my car, and as it evolved over the years, we've grown to be a full-service agency. We do HIV prevention, we do education, we do community fairs. We also provide direct services for people who are infected or affected by HIV and AIDS. So basically, that's what it is.
And so you've been involved with this since 1997, and so you've got quite a bit of experience in terms of dealing with this issue of AIDS and HIV.
Well, StreetWorks has been around since 1997. I personally has been involved with the work since 1994. I started out at Meharry Medical College, went on to work for other AIDS service organizations, one being women, and done a lot of other work around HIV with the Centers for Disease Control and the University of South Carolina as well. So I've been kind of involved for the last 15 years.
Almost as long as the disease itself.
Well, kind of, yeah.
Well, look, Mr. Crowder, when you talk about AIDS and HIV, why don't you give us some kind of definition in terms of...
Well, as you know, HIV is still a disease commonly occurs by three modes of transmission: unprotected sex with the infected partner, blood to blood, and that most commonly occurs by sharing needles, and a person can be born with it. So an infected mother can pass the virus on to an unborn child, and it's basically transmitted from one human to another through four body fluids. That would be semen, vaginal secretion, breast milk, and blood. So basically that's the HIV 101. What's going on now with HIV is that it has become more of a chronic illness than it was first appeared to be. When it first hit the scene, it was mostly viewed upon as a death sentence, but now it's more of a manageable chronic illness.
And so that's a big step in terms of just being able to identify individuals who might be impacted by this disease, by being able to tell them that this is not a death sentence. That
oh, absolutely, absolutely. There's been a lot of strides made in the medical field, and people being able to live normal lives who is infected with HIV. Normal lives.
Who at one time would have been believed to have been under a death sentence.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think that what's going on now is people are becoming complacent with the disease now, and I think that's where a lot of the issues are are
around this.
around it now. People are like, okay, I can live with it forever now, so it's no big deal. But that's not really the issue. There's still a lot of things that go on for a person who is HIV infected. It's not as simple as it looks, although it is a manageable disease. It is still a fatal disease.
And it's still something that if you can avoid, you really want to avoid it, no matter how manageable it may be. And of course, let me encourage our audience to tune in for the second segment following this short commercial break. The topic is